Alright, let's just get started. Alright, final Zero Suit Samus matchup chart. It's been a long time coming. I think the last time I did a matchup chart was like a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. Some of my opinions have changed a little bit. Some of them haven't. Let's just get into it. So, just kind of same criteria where I believe that I like doing matchup charts increments of integers or 5. Um, to more accurately display how winning or losing a matchup is. And there's gonna be a couple things that influence my matchup chart. Obviously, the first one is just gonna be like my personal feel on the matchup, like how I feel about it, how I feel about it, how I feel the matchup going, how I think it goes theoretically, all that stuff. Second thing is I'm going to be taking into account top player results, such other top player opinions on it, sometimes to back up what I'm saying, or sometimes to give more context on the matchup if I don't feel totally comfortable talking about it. And then the third thing is results based, just how it goes at top level, all that stuff. And we'll just start off with probably just like her worst matchup, just to get things rolling here, which hasn't changed. It's still Shulk. Shulk still sucks. I think a majority of Zero Suit Samus players would say that Shulk isn't her worst matchup, and my belief on that is that most ESS players don't play against Shulk because Shulk is not a super common character. As the Zero Suit Samus player has probably played against Shulk more than any other Zero Suit Samus player, let me tell you that this matchup, not that great. Not that great. And there's just a couple of reasons why. Like Shulk has the speed and the hitboxes to not only keep up with the SS, but almost always out hitbox her. And then you also have to deal with the fact that the SS combos don't work on Shulk because all of her combos and kill confirms are multi hits. So you have to kill him twice within 15 seconds, or land 2 kill confirms within 15 seconds, or 13.8, however long it takes for Shield Art to come back. Shield Art to come back, and then so this just leads to this very volatile gameplay loop where Shulk is often killing ZSS really early, like 60-70% off just ledge trapping it with Smash Art. While on the other hand, VSS isn't killing Shulk till like 200, 180, 170, where she can get a clean upstroke for confirm. VSS might get lucky and find like a back air randomly, but it's really hard to find a back air against Shulk when he's consistently outranging you the entire time. And again, most VSS players I know wouldn't say that this is their worst matchup, but I believe that is because they don't play against Shulk that much. Which is fine. I can't change that. And then at top level, Mars has never beaten a top level Shulk, and I don't think Japan VSS is fairly much better against Shulk when they play against Kome, who's like the only good Shulk player in Japan. And I've also talked to Elijah Man about the matchup and Doorstop about the matchup. They both say that VSS struggles a lot. So anyway, moving on. Now we'll just go to something more in like the middle here. Marth. I don't know why I just went on the Marth. Marth does better in the matchup than you would think. Having a frame 4 out of shield option as well as just as a good hitbox system with a sword, it's like not too bad. Marth is a pretty inconsistent character though, and that inconsistency can lead to him struggling quite a lot. So I think this is also fair. In fact, I might just do that. Because Marth sucks. It's really just the frame 4 out of shield, and there will be times where Marth will just sometimes kill ZSS early, but most of the time, like it's not going to be a big deal. Like ZSS will just keep up with Marth for the most part. Another random character. Let's go with Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff has like no chance against ZSS. Like this is one of the few characters where I think you'd argue that ZSS has a 65-35 on. Just constantly out hitboxes her. Constantly just keeps her out. You can camp Jigglypuff pretty easily with ZSS. And because Jigglypuff is so light. Oh my gosh! Hi Alexa, what's up? Or Jeremiah, my bad. And because Jigglypuff is so light, it's one of those few characters in the game where ZSS can just sometimes randomly kill her. Next up, let's go with my clicker's just on him. So we're gonna go with Joker 40-60 matchup. This is how I describe Joker matchup. The Joker is a character that has plays the same mid range as ZSS, has better ground moves than ZSS, is just as good in air to air as ZSS, but also has better combos, has a grab, and a comeback mechanic. So basically, ZSS is fighting the pretty much maxed out version of her. That's how I describe this matchup. And ZSS does have tools in the matchup, like she can camp out Arsene pretty well, for example. And like I said, her air to air is good enough where it can keep up with Joker's air to air, but good Joker players will just stay grounded against ZSS, and playing ground against ZSS is just pretty good because more often than not, your ground tools are just better than her ground tools. Alright, next up. Rosalina struggles against CSS. This matchup is like this is one of those matchups where side B helps a lot in because side B is just a really good disjoint to hit Luma, and back air is also really good against Rosalina and Luma, as back air will just oftentimes like hit Rosa's shield and then hitbox is sent to Luma or vice versa. Edge guarding against Rosalina is pretty easy. She's a really big character too, so a lot of ZSS stuff just works on her. Like being a floaty, tall character against ZSS really sucks because a lot of the more niche ZSS kill confirms just work, like Zaire back air, or like up air into like boost kick or whatever. But yeah, this matchup's not that great. You could argue it's not impossible for Rosa, but I think this matchup's pretty good for ZSS. Next up. We'll just get Ganon out of the way. We'll just do that. Ganon's just Ganon. I'm gonna move my face cam actually. Sorry guys, I'm covering this up. We'll just put that there, and then we'll just put this like here, chat box. Okay, and we'll make me bigger. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, Ganon is just Ganon. I might just add a 65-35 tier just because, like, I think there are some matchups where even though ZSS is not a great character, she's still better than some characters like Ganondorf here. Yeah, when your character as fast as ZSS, Ganondorf's lack of speed is a really big deal. And ZSS edge guarding isn't too bad against Ganondorf, so. Next up, Pac-Man. I just think this is even. Like, ZSS has a lot of good ways to deal with Pac-Man camping and camping behind Hydrant. As if you just know that like F tilt, it takes like 2 F tilts or 2 down tilts to get rid of Hydrant, and then back air is also pretty good at clearing out Hydrant. Granted, you need 2 back airs, but you can just do back air into buffer F tilt to get rid of it. And then also once you learn how to Z catch the Pac-Man items, and also just know that you can always just constantly keep yourself outside of battles. So Pac-Man is not killing ZSS till really late percentages usually, and ZSS can oftentimes kill Pac-Man a lot earlier than Pac-Man can kill ZSS, because another way that Pac-Man gets a lot of early kills is through edge guarding. Pac-Man has to get multiple reads right in a row to edge guard ZSS. But again, it's like the reason why this is like Pac-Man still keeps up though is because his boxing is better, his damage output's better, all that stuff. So even match in my opinion. Greninja just definitely wins. Like this character low profile. This character just by existing low profile has a lot of ZSS neutral like there and all that. And again, Greninja's just gonna stay grounded against ZSS because because his grounded tools are better than ZSS's grounded tools, and if you're gonna stay grounded, then it's harder for ZSS to air to you. Greninja does more damage. Greninja has better kill confirms than ZSS. Greninja's recovery isn't like super exploitable, so it's harder for ZSS to get gimp him. So. Crom 45-55. Crom just kind of the mobile swordsman archetype in general is just really good against CSS. Having the speed to keep up with CSS, which is like her main thing, is just being really fast, and then also having better hitboxes in CSS, it just really helps. There are some. The only reason it's like this matchup isn't terrible is because Crom's recovery is awful, and CSS can sometimes gimp him. But yeah, definitely a losing matchup. Like you could be argued worse because I don't think CSS has in consistent ways to edgeguard Crom, but they are definitely there. Let's go with. Let's just get the other version of Crom out of the way. Where's Roy? Roy is one of the VSS's worst matchups. The VSS does have a couple things where she can air to air Roy pretty well, and sometimes like keep Roy out. But Roy's mobility can keep up with VSS's mobility. And just having the better hitboxes in general is just going to help him a lot in the matchup. And then also what really helps is that since he is just a super light, tall, fast faller, a lot of Roy's kill confirms just work on VSS really well and kills VSS super early. Okay. Let's try and fill out a 55-45 one now. What do I think is like a barely winning matchup for VSS? We'll go with Samus. I think VSS barely wins this matchup. I think you could be argued that this is even. But I think I'm going to go this way because VSS can disrupt a lot of what Samus wants to do. And a lot of Samus's biggest strengths, like her zoning and her ledge trapping, aren't that great into VSS. Because VSS has really good tools to diminish Samus ledge trapping and Samus camping. But again, Samus has good air-to-air and also is really good out of shield, which is really good against CSS. So she has tools. I think you could argue this even, but I'm gonna put it here for now. Zelda sucks. Zelda just gets completely. It's like Samus, but a lot worse because you don't have any tools to deal with what CS wants to do. Like, you don't have good air or good out of shield, but you want to stay in the corner and just step stuff up, and you want to ledge trap people, but your ledge trapping is just awful, and your neutral and your camping is actually just fake. So, yeah, Zelda is pretty awful. Banjo, I don't have much to say about this, unfortunately. Like, my instinct just tells me it's here. But, you know, like, Mars hasn't played Toraguri. The only time I can remember, like, a good Banjo player playing against a good VSS player is, like, Doorstop playing against Fair, and Fair won that set, so. But I also don't know how much that was due to matchup unfamiliarity. I'm going to say this is about right, because, like, in my head, like, VSS can avoid a lot of Banjo's gimmicks. But like I don't know, VSS isn't even like run up the score in Banjo. Like I don't know, it's weird. I'm gonna just leave that there though. Kirby, this is like super volatile because depending on how you play this, it's way different. If you try to be aggro against Kirby, you like definitely lose. But if you play the match how you should, which is just running away the entire time, which is really boring, but it's how you should do it. It's like closer to like here. Probably like here. Like if you just commit to just running away the entire time against Kirby, you should just win. And I'm pretty sure that's how Andrew T almost beat J-Ja. I don't think Doorstop has played J-Ja in a while. And I think Gilhu usually beats Cali, the Mexico VSS. But I think Cali was playing the matchup wrong. I just think you have to just really camp, and VSS does have tools against him. Like side B is really strong, and your F tilt, funnily enough, outrange a lot of what Kirby's trying to do. Because Kirby can't like crawl. If Kirby could crawl, it would actually help out a lot for this matchup. But if you just crawling with VSS and using your longer tilts like down tilts and F tilt will really help. But yeah, I think depending on how the VSS player plays, like if you're a super aggressive VSS, it's probably like way up here. But If you play the matchup how you should, I think you should. This is super winning for ZSS. Let's go back into top tier realm. Fox, I just saw him. This is super losing. Kind of what we've been talking about, like a bunch of characters, some other characters that just have super good mobility, and then have good hitboxes, and then also out damage ZSS. That's just like super win against her, super winning. Like the only thing that's going against Fox is that ZSS can sometimes like cheese him, like that's it. But that's like every character against Fox, and like ZSS cheese isn't even that good. And like again at top level, Light is usually beating Mars now. The Japan Foxes are beating the Japan ZSSs. Like it's pretty bad for ZSS. Corrin, I think ZSS beats Corrin by that's tough. I think ZSS should be beating Corrin because Corrin's damage output isn't crazy. It's good. It's better than ZSS's, but ZSS should be winning neutral often enough to the point where Corrin's damage output shouldn't be keeping her ahead, even if she does get an opening or two. Because again, ZSS air is really strong against Corrin, and ZSS edge guarding is pretty good against Corrin. Alright, Kazuya, -2. Once Kazuya players figured out they can just electric there, and that it was just wraps. Like, you could just say, like, oh, just commit to super hard camping Kazuya. Characters like Kazuya are really hard for ZSS to camp because Kazuya's anti-airs are really strong, and how ZSS wants to get the initial hits are through her anti-airs, or through landing aerials against Kazuya. Otherwise, you have to play just, like, this really weird game where you're just, like, trying to stay just out of range of Kazuya and then, like, grab him or F-tilt him. Or just, like, do a very retreating there. And sometimes Kazuya will still hit you even if you're trying to do retreating there. But the margin for error and forgiveness that Kazuya has just allows him to keep up way more, like, do way better in this matchup than I think you'd probably expect. And I think that's proven a top-level play with Mars constantly losing to Kazuya. Doorstop constantly loses to Kazuya. Callie constantly loses to Kazuya. Like, it's been proven this match is pretty bad. Bowser, we're going to add him to the 55-45 gang. Bowser keeps up because he can kill he can just cheese ZSS pretty easily, and then also because of how heavy Bowser is and how little damage ZSS does, Bowser's just gonna be living for literally ever against her. And it's not like super hard for Bowser to just get the hits, get like this 4 to 5 hits he needs per stock, and just kill ZSS with like 70 or 80 with just like something random. He has a really good out of shield option to help him keep up also. I will say, like, the main reason why I say this is winning instead of losing is that edge guarding Bowser is pretty easy for ZSS. And if she couldn't edge guard Bowser, then I would say it's probably even. But that edge guarding really helps. Little Mac, I'm just going to say it's 60-40. I think just, like, it's kind of like Kirby, where if you play the match how you should, it should be pretty easy, but it's also really boring. It's also really boring. Like, just using ZSS F-tilt over and over again and then just camping on platforms does get pretty boring, but it's what you should be doing. Okay. Min. I think Min wins at this point. That's just like my read on the matchup. I have not seen this matchup at all at top level play. I feel like I never see this because Mars hasn't played any good Min-Mins. Doorstop hasn't played any of the good Min-Mins. I think he's probably played Time Gear a couple times, but Min likes to occupy the same range as ZSS a lot, but Min-Min's just better at doing it than ZSS. And then also, again, Min has really good out-of-shield options, and also has ways to hit ZSS even if she wants to camp her. And the Min not even going to bother playing the air against air game against ESS because she doesn't have to. That's not what she's about. Let's move on. Bowser Jr. is pretty easy. Rising forward air in particular just lines up super well against Bowser Jr. to the point where you're hitting the head with both hits and just hitting him out of side B almost like every time. And then if you are and then your hitbox is just usually just better than Bowser Jr.'s. He's just better than Bowser Jr.'s. And if Bowser Jr. gets the right hits, it can be scary because his damage up is pretty good if he gets the right hit. But it's not consistent enough against ZSS, and ZSS can oftentimes avoid what Bowser Jr. wants to do. Donkey Kong. Probably just an even matchup at this point. Like Donkey Kong has just better damage output and better overall tools than Bowser does. It has better cheese and all that. Like again, if ZSS edge guarding wasn't pretty good against DK, I would think that DK does better, but I think this is about where it is right now. Bayonetta. Doorstop thinks his matchup is like her worst matchup. I can see it. Bayonetta is pretty bad. Just like air to air ZSS for free. Air to air ZSS for free. Just infinitely out damages her. Does way better. It just like has the tools to keep up ZSS if ZSS wants to camp. The only like saving grace for ZSS is if Bayonetta does miss her kill confirm, ZSS will live for quite a bit because Bayonetta doesn't have good kill moves really. But that same could be said for Bayonetta. Like Bayonetta will just sometimes live for a while against ZSS. Incineroar. Incineroar is scary, but like again, it's like if you play a matchup how you should just never be getting hit by the cheese by from Incineroar. And it's not like one of the things where you just play perfect. No, Incineroar needs a couple openings to do what he needs to do. So if you were just getting hit by Incineroar, you probably just aren't playing the matchup how you're supposed to as ZSS. How you're supposed to as ZSS. Like ZSS just has way too much mobility for Incineroar to like ever hit her. Captain Falcon. I think this is even. Maybe not. These probably wins. The Falcon has too much damage output. Like Falcon has too much damage output and has and it's pretty consistent against ZSS because again she's a light, tall, fast faller, so things are just gonna work against her. And he doesn't keep up. Like he has the speed to keep up with the SS, but he doesn't have like the hitboxes like these guys do up here. But I still think that Falcon probably goes even at this point. But Game & Watch. I think this is just slight winning. I think this is like one of the few top tier matchups, like apart from Samus, that like. These probably wins. Like I could see even just because the auto shield option is really nice, but again, it's like one of those matches where if you just stay out of Game Watch's range and just play the slow game of ZSS, you should just be winning. You shouldn't be trying to air to air Game Watch because he has better air to air than ZSS, but you should just try and play the Zaire game against him. Against him again, it's really boring, but it's what you should be doing, and it's theoretically what should be winning you the matchup consistently. And that's top of that's displayed too, with like Doorstop beating Mia pretty consistently, right? So. Me Brawler probably just wins at this point. He has like a lot of the same things going from his Fox. It's just not quite as fast. It's not quite as fast. Yeah, I think that just makes sense. Like on paper, he just has all the same qualities Fox does, just not quite as fast. So. Pikachu. I think Pikachu pretty. I think Pikachu wins. Pikachu just has this. It's not by that much. It's probably right there. Pikachu, while Pikachu can, while Pikachu outdamages ZSS, and will usually be winning neutral against ZSS, it's actually pretty hard for Pikachu to pick up the kills against ZSS. And that's like the end for the matchup is that Pikachu struggles to get the kill, and then you can cheese Pikachu. And I think that line of like trying to cheese Pikachu is so much easier than trying to cheese someone like Fox, for example. And I think that's proven at like top level, where like a lot of the ZSS players tend to do pretty well in the Pikachu at the top and high level. I'm gonna slide Pichu in there for like the same reasons. Pichu is like volatile in both ways because like Pichu does more damage and more kill power than Pikachu, but he's more susceptible to getting gimped and cheesed than Pikachu is. And I think that's reflected in how the ZSS Pichu matchup goes. Let's just get this out of the way. Ken and Terry, if I can find them. Ken and Terry, I'm just gonna both put in even. Well, because while you could argue that DSS should just be camping these characters out, they just have good enough tools in the spots that matters. Whether it's like good anti-airs or good like really good reward on hit, to the point where they keep up with DSS even if DSS tries to camp them out, and they can also just kill super early. Ryu, I find it a bit easier, but still also really annoying. So I'm gonna put him in 55-45. But I think the gameplay loop against all three of them is pretty similar, except Ryu has the worst reward on hit than these two guys. And the reason why, like, you know, people say Ryu's better than those two because he has more consistent neutral and all that. On paper, the ZSS should be camping all these guys, so they all just look for one hit, and these guys are just better in one hit. Like that's just how I feel about that. Snake. Snake's weird. I'm inclined to just put it in slight winning, but just based on how I've seen the matchup go at high and top level, because ZSS has really good tools to hit Snake out of Cypher, and then like it's like and then Snake interrupting combos sucks with Grenade, but ZSS doesn't have combos anyway. Like so it's not as big of a deal. The thing that sucks is that like Snake's up tilt is just an insane anti-air, and it just kills ZSS with like 80. Like that's like the one thing you gotta watch out for, which is like pretty frustrating. But it's just the one thing. Like Snake's dash attack's also really good for like when ZSS is trying to space with like there and stuff. Lucario. I don't think Lucario does that bad against ZSS. Like, the more I think about it. Because, like, ZSS damage output is really... actually, never mind. Because, like, the ZSS damage output isn't great, but her kill power is good enough to the point where she's killing, like, pretty reasonably, usually. If she can find the right hits. And it's just before that band where Lucario gets really scary, where ZSS can reasonably find the kill. You can argue it's this just because ZSS, as time goes on, it's going to be harder and harder for ZSS to find the kill because their kill confirms aren't super consistent. But I think right now it's still right there for Lucario. Yeah, Sheik, I think, goes up here. It's like the same, apply the same logic I did for Joker, but to Sheik. Except Sheik doesn't have as good of kill power or comeback mechanic, but she still plays the mid-range better, plays grounded better, plays air-to-air better, and then also just has more better damage and all that. Palutena wins. Palutena, again, just like occupies that same mid-range that ZSS wants to play. But again, when you are fast and have better hitboxes than ZSS does, like all these characters, like a lot of these characters do, and you do more damage, and you're just a more well-rounded character like Palutena is, it's gonna be real. It's a lot harder for ZSS. Could be argued up here, honestly. I think it could be argued to be that bad, but I'm going to keep it here. Ness, I think Ness just goes right here. I think that's fine. Ness has like reasonable ways to like hit DSS. It's not super consistent. I don't know, it's one of the matches I just don't see that much anymore because DSS just has gone down so much popularity, and Ness has also gone down pretty well in popularity. I think Lucas is a little bit better than Ness, but like not enough to the point where like to like put him up here. Because like while Lucas has better long range hitboxes to hit DSS than Ness does, Ness's overall reward on hit is just better than Lucas. Wow, I think this is about here. Like how it should go is that Wario should just camp the entire time and then get waffed and then just kill CSS. Like that's just how it should go. Like if CSS is gonna commit to camping Wario, then Wario's chilling. But then if CSS wants to play aggro, then Wario's also chilling because Wario has better damage and all that. Better damage and all that. So it's just weird. I think like I would say it's slight Wario favor, but I think this is also fine. Rob beats CSS now, in my opinion. The thing with Rob is that why I think this way now is that Rob's like major weakness, like his one big one, is that he gets comboed pretty well because he has big and he has a bad air dodge. You know what ZSS doesn't have? She doesn't have combos. So the main thing that Rob struggles against, ZSS does not have. You know what Rob does have? He has really good hitboxes and really good really good forgiveness. So even if ZSS is winning a lot against Rob, Rob can just make that go away. And he's good enough a neutral against CSS where it's pretty consistent. And you've begun to see this at like top and high level of like Zamba not losing to like any ZSSs really. So Peach, I think Peach beats ZSS at this point. Like I think it's just the Wario thing, but even more consistent. Where like if ZSS wants to camp, Peach is chilling because she gets to farm turnips, and then when ZSS wants to actually start fighting Peach, Peach has the better hitboxes and then also does way more damage. There are times where ZSS can just get the lead in camp, but I think that's less consistent than just Peach getting the opening and dealing a million damage, and then just lapping ZSS basically. And then for even a lot of the same reasons, we're just gonna put Steve. We're gonna get the Steven. We're gonna get Steve out of the way. You know how I just said like with Peach is just like chilling if ZSS wants to camp. Steve is chilling if ZSS wants to camp, and then also has like a lot of things going for her, same thing going for him that Peach does. It's like if ZSS gets the lead, and Steve actually has to start doing things, but it's way more forgiving for Steve to just get the one hit and lap the ZSS in percent or get the kill super early than ZSS to just get the lead and just avoid getting hit for however long she needs to avoid getting hit for. It's like way more consistent to play it on Steve's end than on ZSS's end. Yoshi isn't going even. This is like one thing where like again I think this could be argued against winning for Yoshi, and I could see it. I think ZSS has just enough here where she can play this game where she can camp Yoshi reasonably well, and Yoshi doesn't have like the greatest incentive just camp. And when he does get the hit, he does more damage than like Wario for example, and I think he's damage on par with Peach, but it's not like the end of the world if ZSS can't get the lead against Yoshi because Yoshi has reasons to engage more than these other characters. Young Link. I think Young Link does the best of the Links. Just has pretty good boxing tools overall, and has ways to to like stop ZSS from camping and all that. His damage output isn't super consistent, but it's better than ZSS's. But I think even is fine. I don't know, nobody plays Young Link right now, so. Mega Man, I think is about here. I think Mega Man doesn't do that bad in the ZSS, but it's like, again, Mega Man is just really, Mega Man's just not a great character. Like, he's so much effort for so little. And against ZSS, you need to find like a ton of hits, a ton of hits against her. And when you're landing hits as Mega Man, it's not that big of a deal, really. Like, it's not that big of a deal to just get like hit by one up air and just like, okay, I guess like I got up aired. Now I'm gonna flip jump away from Mega Man, and then all right, cool. I took like 10 damage from that. All right, let's get back to playing the game. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, if Mega Man actually had like insane combos, I think it'd be a bigger deal. But it's not. That's just not the case of him. Fucking Peanut is a god. This character, I don't know how he does it. Let's Wolf, I think, is her second worst matchup and is the third entry in the 65-35 category. If I can get up there. Like, anything I said about any of these characters, whether it's like they outbox DSS, they outdamage DSS, they have hitboxes to stop DSS from camping, they have reasons to make DSS stop camping, they have better damage output, they can cheese DSS, all that stuff. Wolf has all of it. Wolf has literally every anti-ZSS tool you could actually ask for. You want to out-air ZSS? You can. You want to out-camp ZSS? You can. You want to cheese ZSS? You can. You want to deal crazy damage to ZSS? You can. You want to have a better ground game than ZSS? He has it. Like, he just one-ups her in literally every category of the game. And that's proven at top level. Wolf players destroy DSS players, like, consistently. The only exception is Doorstop, but I think Doorstop's just kind of insane. Okay, Cloud, I think, goes here. Like, a lot of the same reasons that we talked about the other characters. Just mobile swordsman with really good hitboxes, really hard for DSS to deal with. I think Cloud is harder than Greninja, personally. I think it's also harder than, like, these two. Probably harder than Bayonetta, also. And that's proven at top level. Like, when was the last time Mars even got close to beating Spargo? You know what I mean? Like, Pokemon Trainer, I think, beats CSS. Just Squirtle in general just is enough to just beat CSS on his own. Because again, you have way better damage output. You just have better ground moves than DSS. You have better air than DSS. The only issue that Squirtle has is the camping, but Ivysaur has ways to make DSS stop camping. And then Charizard is also scary in his own right because Charizard can just cheese DSS randomly. Sora is weird. I'm just going to slot Sora into even and just... Because this is the one I think I have the least knowledge about. I never see this matchup at top level play. I never see it at high level play. I have very little experience in myself, so all I can really just say is that theoretically I think it's fine on both ends. Like, they both have decent airs against each other. And they both have good hitboxes in general. I think Sora probably has more potential to do better in the matchup overall. But I'm going to leave it an even for now. Mewtwo, I think DSS just super wins that. Like, Mewtwo has all the properties Samus does, except he's lighter. He's lighter, and he doesn't have good out of shield. So, yeah. Toon Link also does not do very well in the DSS. Toon Link setups don't work that well against CSS, and even if DSS will either not give Toon Link the time to do our setups, or will just avoid the setups in general. Robin does it fucking terrible in the CSS. Like, if the Robin player beats the ZSS player, the ZSS player was probably just not thinking. Like, there's just. Actually, I'm going to put this in here. Just because the Levin sword on its own makes it so that she can outbox ZSS sometimes. And that's like the only hard part of the matchup. Otherwise, ZSS can crawl under projectiles. Zaire out prioritizes all the projectiles. The edge guarding's pretty easy against Robin. All that stuff. Pyra Mithra just pretty easily beats ZSS. Probably right there. Like, it's just mobile swordsman that has better hitboxes and more damage output and more forgiveness and all that. More susceptible to recovery than like Cloud, for example, or like Fox. So she has more ends in the matchup overall, but it's not enough to like make it easier for ZSS than it has to be. Sephiroth, ZSS wins. It's just like, again, Sephiroth kind of has a min-min function where they operate at similar ranges, but Sephiroth's overall consistency is just way worse than min-min. Ike, we're going to slide Ike and even at this point. I think, at this point, I don't think ZSS loses the matchup anymore. Ike's lack of mobility does come up quite a bit. The only thing he has really going for him is just how good his hitboxes are against ZSS. But there are ways to get around that as ZSS. And the edge guarding isn't too bad against Ike for ZSS. Pit is just a nothing character. No, he's not a nothing character. All I have to go off of is like the Zachary Mars set from like a year ago. And that said, it seemed like that Pit had good airs and good anti-airs and better damage output. So I guess I'm putting Pit in even. You know, I don't know. That's just weird. I think that's controversial, but I think it's correct. But it doesn't feel good. Ridley. I think Ridley should go here. I think based on what I've seen from the matchup and how I've seen Rydra play it and how I've seen these players play into Rydra, I think that's how it should go. Even if you commit to camping, Ridley has good just overall hitboxes in general that help him out in the matchup, and like it's not too bad. Like it could be worse for him. Yeah, heavyweights in general just do better in the ZSS than you'd think because ZSS doesn't deal damage, so their one weakness isn't as exploited by ZSS. Not their one weakness, but like one of their biggest weaknesses. Let's just wrap up some of these heavyweights here because I don't like talking about these characters. King Dedede, pretty free. I think that like just there on its own, just knocking corners away is pretty tough for King Dedede. And like his strength being ledge trapping is not that good against CSS. King K Rule, I think this is gonna go in even. I think this is like one of the matchups where it's a factor in all the matchups because ZSS grab is garbage, but against the King K Rule specifically, not being able to grab King K Rule super consistently after throwing Crown, like the window for it is not as big as other characters with just standard grabs. So there's less forgiveness for ZSS in the matchup overall, and King K Rule has good hitboxes against ZSS for the most part. So I think it's even. Villager just gets destroyed by ZSS. His out of shield is like the only thing keeping him in it. Byleth has decent air against ZSS, can occupy the mid-range pretty well, does more damage, all of that. I think it's even. Olimar destroys ZSS, unfortunately. Just Pikmin in general is just so hard for ZSS to deal with. She has to use very awkward moves to get rid of them, like down air and up tilt. And then if you have electric Pikmin on you, they just eat there, which is in there, which just sucks. It's like pretty annoying. Put that there. Wii Fit Trainer. It's pretty weird. It's like I feel like it's harder than it should be because like Wii Fit Trainer doesn't have a reason to not camp against ZSS, and ZSS doesn't have a reason to not approach. So it's just this really weird limbo where they don't want to approach each other and they don't get much out of it because like Wii Fit's damage output isn't that crazy, and her neutral isn't that great. Like her ability to get the hit isn't as good as ZSS's ability to get the hit, but when she does get the hit, she'll usually do more than ZSS, but it's not anything crazy. Uh, Richter Belmont, the Belmonts, I think just go down here. Again, like they have like that Sephiroth thing going on where they have the range to make these stop playing mid range sometimes, but the severe lack of speed is super noticeable in this matchup. And also like the fact that whips like that the whip doesn't do a lot sometimes. Like sometimes it just deals 2 damage randomly. Not randomly, but you know what I mean. Duck Hunt. I think Duck Hunt goes here. Again, like it's one of those things where like not having combos makes it so that Duck Hunt using can to stop combos or strings or whatever isn't a super big deal against ESS. And then also like the fact that Duck Hunt doesn't have good out of shield. Can is not that great against ESS because ESS can just hit it with like Zaire or something. Yeah, I don't think Duck Hunt is very good in ESS. Inkling, I think, just beats CSS. It could be argued like up here at this point, but I'm going to keep it up here in 45-55. I think Inkling just like not having insane damage kill power is like the only thing holding her back in the matchup. Otherwise, she does really well. Really good mobility, good hitboxes, good damage output. Me Swordsman is just going to go down here. Just going to go down here. Again, it's like one of these projectile characters that doesn't have good out of shield, and then when they do get the hit, theoretically Swordsman has like insane damage output, but that's at like 10%. If you are fighting these Swordsmen at like anything higher than 30%, you're probably fine. You're fine. So, I think these Swordsmen goes there. And then Ice Climbers, again, like it's really hard for Ice Climbers to actually get what they want going in VSS, because VSS can either break them up with things like side B or back air, or just camp Ice Climbers until she finds the opening she needs to separate them. Like it's a lot of, and like even then their sets aren't as consistent as like what's going into Luigi. Where I just kind of believe that this is even, because I don't think Luigi can really have losing matchups, and that's just like my philosophy on this. Where like, yeah, you can camp Luigi, and sometimes it will work, but also sometimes he will just find the hit he needs and just kill you at 0. Like that's just how it goes. And you could say that finding the hit and killing you at 0 is more consistent than than just camping the Luigi the entire game. And I think that's where I'm at right now. Mario, I think Mario just goes here now. When you have really good out of shield and do have really good damage, you're probably just beating VSS. Like his mobility isn't crazy, but it's good enough to a point where like he can keep up, and like he doesn't kill you as consistently as like the Luigi does. But I think this is where we're at with Mario. Falco just destroys this character. I think this is like this might be your third or fourth matchup. I'm gonna put it like right here. Falco just like has the insane anti-air with up tilt, and then has just the insane damage output, and then has good ways to like make the SS stop camping because laser is just the full stage projectile. So like it's easy to get the lead with Falco, and then hard to lose it with Falco. And then you just deal a bunch of damage and kill super early. The matchup's really hard. Hero, I think VSS can, for the most part, avoid a lot of what Hero wants to do and punish Hero for doing it. Lucina, I think it's going to go an even. When you have a good out of shield option and good mobility and a good hitbox like Lucina has, you should do really well going into CSS. But the problem is that Lucina does not have good damage output, and that right there allows CSS to play the game more. And you could even argue that the ESS damage output is better than Lucina. That might be a bit of a stretch, but I think it's close enough to the point where I'm just going to call this even. If Lucina put it in winning though, I wouldn't blame them. Me Gunner just gonna go down here with all these other random zoners for the same reasons. Meta Knight. I think he goes up there. He's slightly annoying because it's a lot like what Kirby does, but it's a bit better because the hitboxes are a bit better and he has better ground moves and all that. Not insane, but I think it's slightly more annoying to points where I'm willing to put him up here. Link. I think Link just goes here. Good enough hitboxes and good enough projectiles to stop VSS from just fully taking over the game. Good enough out of shield too. I think that's fine for him. Piranha Plant, I think just goes. I don't know. It's weird. I think a character that likes to jump as much as VSS does. Piranha Plant does pretty decent. And it's the recovery isn't as exploitable as you would want it to be for ZSS. I think this is fine. Doc just goes down here. He just does not have enough to deal with ZSS mobility. Are we missing anybody? Oh, okay. I think I have two characters left: Diddy Kong and Sonic. Oh, and Isabelle. Isabelle does a bit better than Villager just because her anti-airs and ground moves are a bit better, but it's not I think it's enough tools where I would say she does a bit better than Villager does. And then Diddy Kong, I think Diddy Kong just goes up here. Really hard for DSS to deal with this character. Her one in for the matchup is that she just gets banana and just starts camping it. But that's such an inconsistent way of trying to go for the win here. And at top level you see that too with DSS players struggle a lot against Diddy Kong. And then you have Sonic, who kind of like Pikachu, just does a lot of what DSS likes to do, but just a lot better. But then that has better damage output and is less at risk. And it's because he's not a lightweight, he's just less susceptible to just getting cheesed and dying to whatever dying whatever. I think that's fair to put him there. DSS does have tools, but they're not insane tools to deal with spin dash and stuff. But yeah, I think that's where I'm at right now with DSS. I'm not gonna bother going through these tiers. Yeah, I think this is fine. All right. Well, that was a fun stream. So anyone that tuned into the stream and said hi for a little bit, appreciate you, Alexa and Wa and all that and all that. I'm gonna end stream. I'm gonna screen cap this, upload to Twitter, and then probably upload this to YouTube at some point. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll probably see you guys at Rebel on Monday. So see ya.